The following video is not an endorsement of violence or a glorification of armed conflict, and it is not intended to provoke war, disparage any group or any nation. I am not an expert, and I apologize in advance for any inaccuracy in my discussion. I hope that someday all violence will just be in games and that all differences will be resolved by well-reasoned dialogue, communication, and understanding between all parties. Hello and welcome to the Wildman Gaming and Rage Quit channel. We're going to take another look at island defense. If you recall, previously we've done a video about the invasion of Crete in 1941, where the Germans invaded the island of Crete. And basically we acknowledged the difficulty of conducting an island invasion. And in that scenario, the Germans tried an airborne invasion, and we basically hunkered down and defended the island as best as we can. Here we are taking a look at a hypothetical scenario, invasion of another island, and based on what we're seeing, it's going to be another airborne invasion. Can our strategy work again in this scenario? Can we defend the island, hunkering down and preventing the takeover of the island? So overall, when I played this game, it took about, I'm looking at something like at least 2 to 3 hours of footage. And I'm thinking maybe we can just talk briefly about it and summarize or get to the highlights. If you would like to see a longer video looking at all the things that we've done here, just let me know. But for once, I'd like to change the format and maybe shorten it and just cover some of the things that I found interesting playing this game. Okay, so first off, we have here turn 1 goes to the red force, to the computer AI, and it is sending a lot of airborne units across the sea and into the island here. And what we want to do is defend the island. Look at all those victory points. Some of them are basically 1-point locations, but in my view, we'll try and defend. We will defend those points as much as possible. Now, high end points or high scoring points, we will certainly prioritize them. But something to be said about, say, that 20 points over there for the international airport. Now, why do I think that's important aside from the 20 points? I believe that if it is taken over by an invading force, similar to what we discussed back in our scenario for Crete 1941, it paves the way for more forces to be flown in, particularly heavier forces, heavier material, and more personnel. And I think the best way to defend or to prevent that from happening is to keep hold of that airport. Okay, and I guess that's also reflected in the fact that it's worth 20 points in this scenario. Now, there are other locations here which are worth only 1 point, but let's not take them for granted. There are 2 victory point locations here worth 5 points. You can see from the screen, and other locations we will see which will be worth more points. But this is the initial wave of the invasion coming in, and what we want is to stop them cold as much as possible from this airborne invasion. However, they have the element of surprise. They've landed a significant force, and they are trying to take over the international airport. They're trying to take over those 20 points worth of victory points. In the meantime, what do we have? We do have some police units. We have some military formations which are on the ready, and we want to already position them near the airport and take over that. But after that, as the game progresses, as more waves of invasion come in, we will also have to activate more formations and more units so that we can respond and hopefully overpower and overcome the red force or the computer AI. So let's skip forward to some of the things that I noticed here. I think that very interesting. Some of the units controlled by the computer AI, the ones that are marked letter G, what does that stand for? That's the guerrilla unit. So the assumption here is that certain guerrilla units will be activated during the invasion, and these are supporting the invaders. They're not going to be the main force. The main force will still be coming during the invasion, but some of them will come up and they will also harass and will need to take care of them. So here's one example where we've got the unit and we're going to try and move it by group move, composed of some artillery, infantry, air defense units, some armored units, and the HQ going into Taishan, and we want to attack the guerrilla units that have been activated. Let's try to do that and make an attack right now. The attack will not be executed immediately. We're going to do other things on our turn before we initiate attacks, but at least we put an attack there. And in the meantime, meanwhile, we're looking here near Taipei, and you'll notice that there is a 90-point victory hex there, and it contains probably the seat of government. Over here we can't see it directly. I should have shown it, but you can see the blue marked, the blue colored pieces on in the 10 victory point hex, and in the 5 victory point hex. Let's see, those are the president and the cabinet. I think I don't know which one, but those are high valued pieces and you don't want them to be eliminated. My understanding is that there will be a severe decrease in the player's victory points if the seat of government is taken over. Which brings us to another point in this particular scenario. I noticed that the blue colored pieces they also happen to be airborne or helicopter units. So this doesn't mean, I don't think it means that the president and the cabinet can actually, parachute and attack from the rear lines. They're not airborne units in that sense, but I think this means that we can actually move those units by air. That gives them a lot of flexibility. That means that we can take them out of harm's way and just put them in a safer place. Where would I put that? Let's see later. I think there's an air base nearby. Well, nearby is relative because this is an island, but there's an air base on the south western part of this map where we can take them for safety. So I'm skipping throughout the footage and looking for additional points that I'd like to reference in our discussion, but I've moved forward. I fast moved forward. So here there's an army base near Taipei, and we're going to be moving our reinforcements or our activated forces to address or to meet against the enemy, in this case guerrilla forces. But make no mistake, additional units will be flying in. They'll be dropping all over, and they'll probably try to overrun us. So let's try to look at the big map, and I think I was planning to bring the cabinet and the president here to Longtan Army Base? Yeah, if we can bring the seat of government outside of the combat zone and bring them to the army base, then maybe we can at least protect them. There's still a lot of enemy forces coming down from the north, but at least it's an army base, and it'll take a while if ever we lose for the army to reach that location. Meanwhile, the army base has activated formations of units which we are moving using group move, and we've meet the enemy head on. What are we going to do? We're going to meet them in the beaches, we're going to meet them in the airports, we're going to meet them all over the place, at least wherever they try to take over, because they're coming from all over the place. And well, the advantage that we have, seeing as we're defenders, is maybe newly activated units will be high strength units, and perhaps the units that land on that attack and land on the island might be uh, because of the restrictions or because of the difficulties and challenges of airborne operations. um, Individual unit pieces might be relatively weak. They need to consolidate, come together in order to maximize their force capabilities. So that might be the advantage that we need. We need to act fast, even as the enemy has just recently landed on the island. Before they can consolidate and regroup, then we have to hit them back, and with the forces that we have already. So you can see here that the attack strengths are 10, the defense strengths are 12. Some even have 19 and 22 attack and defense strengths. So we need to take advantage of that early and push back the enemy. So fast forward again, we just want to see how it works out when we initiate a battle. So let's begin resolving our attacks. And we have our engineer unit stacked with some other units. We're attacking some weak units, but typically we call them targets of opportunity, or I call them targets of opportunity. We push them back and let's see how far they can take them. So some points that I just want to talk about in this video. Number 1. Comparing this scenario with Crete 1941, I would say that capturing a small, heavily defended island by air is not easy. I am not sure if attacking by sea is any better, as I understand that the waters in this area are difficult to cross most of the year. Now let's fast forward to turn 3 and look at what I learned next. I thought I read somewhere that losing the president and cabinet units would impose victory penalties for me. Fortunately, they are airborne and... Wait a minute. Oh no, this is bad. I'm so sorry. So one of the things we learn from this scenario is that we need to take care of the civilian leadership, or the overall leadership, whichever that would be, in any combat situation. So I'm very sorry about that. And just like in my other video on the Chosen Frozen, I guess I wouldn't know how to explain to, if I were the general, I wouldn't know how to explain to the citizens how I got those marine units in Chosen surrounded and how I let that happen. And in the same way, in this scenario, how to explain to the public that I failed to transport the civilian government immediately to safety, which I think should be a standard operating procedure in any disaster or immediate combat situation planning for any government. So there we go. Sorry about that. So sorry about that. Okay. Then I focused on taking and keeping the high-value victory hexes, namely the airport and the capital city. The Red Force, for instance, is trying to dislodge our Blue Forces on or around Taipei. That's worth 90 points. You can see all the fighting going on there near the 5 points. They're charging in close, totally surrounding Taipei. Meanwhile, we are trying to retake Chiang Kai-shek International. So going on from Taiwan air base, and we're trying to push our way up. And, so that's 90 points versus 20 points. I think that'll take up a lot of the score that we need to take to maintain our hold over this island. Then, as before, I try to attack isolated weak units when there is an opportunity. Then I fail to search for enemy supply sources, or I am not sure where they are getting their supplies. Maybe from the airport or by air supply. And then HQ and artillery units are also good targets, but I'm not sure if I had the chance to do this here. So you notice here that what we're doing also is trying to get the units from out of the army base and bring them into action. So this one is coming from Sanxia Tucheng army base, and we're going to bring them in to the Taipei area in order to attack the red forces that have surrounded the Taipei area. So let's see where we can put the unit coming there and move all units. We'll use all units move and then have them move over there into that area. There should be. We can take the 5 points here, or is it better to get the 5 points in Yongto? So here we have the 912th Brigade moving along with the HQ to near the a little bit to the southeast of Taipei, and then we can face off against the units in. Now there's an HQ unit over there. Maybe we can also attack that unit. I'll see. Skipping forward, we also take a look at what we are doing with the Air Force. We're putting them into combat support and interdiction. I think the interdiction's role would help weaken the red forces, and combat support would help in times when we attack and hopefully when we're also defending. Now overall, we're basically selective in where we attack. We focus on weak units or those that are isolated, and then we mass our forces, our large and our fresh units to attack them. So you notice here we're pushing them back slowly, and what we want to do is to exploit the weak units, exploit our attacks on the weak units and push them back. Look at these. They only have one attack strength, one defense strength, so let's push them back. Maybe sometimes if we get a chance to overrun them, we can do that. Let's pick those battles right there and then attack and see how they are being pushed back slowly. So that's the general strategy that we have. It's the best that we can do, because it doesn't really make sense for us to, well, from my perspective, I don't think it makes much sense to attack the strong units, but rather to attack the weak units first and attack the problem. See how we're doing that. And what we want to do also is, by pushing back the weak units, we can slowly overwhelm or maybe envelope the larger forces, and hopefully by enveloping them and by encircling them, we put them in a more precarious position and with greater advantages for our forces, and then proceed. And now how does the AI react to this? Well, you noticed how they're trying to also attack areas of opportunity, and how they mass their forces, trying to consolidate them as well, I think. And they're trying to bolster up the areas, and those that are weak they try to put behind. Look at that. That's a 10 defense, 10 attack strength, 6 defense strength. And meanwhile, more army units come in. Oh, HQ units coming in, and they put them forward as well. Let's hope we can take that and to our advantage. By eliminating that, it will also disrupt communications within the enemy forces and weaken their ability to respond to our attacks. Okay, and let's see if we can also take advantage of destroying their support units. I don't know if they have artillery. I see some airborne artillery over there near near Chiang Kai-shek International and Taiyuan, and the Taoyuan Air Base as well. So, for instance, in this case, you'll see the First Army HQ of the Red Force being so far forward. What we'll try to do is encircle it by attacking the northwestern area, and hopefully we can push back the units there, but we are concentrating our forces. That's 3 hexes going against that unit there. The one on top is let's see, attack strength 4, defense strength 2, and at the same time we'll try to attack north. Not from there, but the northern part of the HQ. What we want to do is to isolate it. So we bring up the engineers here, and we will attack that paratroop brigade, the 127th paratroop brigade, and also at the same time attack the occupation of the that's the 15th Corps HQ. Try to attack them in the either. Hopefully we can destroy them or take them out of the Taoyuan air base, and we'll see how that works out. So let's see, we'll fast forward here to this area, to this particular part of the turn. I did not show the other parts where I also moved some units in near the Taipei area, but here we started making our moves to remove the red forces here, and also on the northern part of the air base and Chiang Kai-shek International, and started to our attempt at encirclement. And what we have so far, okay, so they're moving back from Chungcheong, and also coming from Lingkou Army Base. We move forward. We have reconnaissance units as well. Interesting point about the reconnaissance units, you see that rectangle with a dashed line coming, going up from left to right. Good thing about having reconnaissance units when you attack. Ooh, look at that, Taiwan Air Base. The HQ unit moved out of it. The good thing about having reconnaissance units when you attack is that it at least gives you a better chance of a first strike capability. It's not foolproof, but you need every help that you can get, and having reconnaissance units giving you a first opportunity to roll against the enemy is certainly helpful. Okay, and again, some weak units with 1 defense rating, we attack them and push them back. Over here, we're trying to encircle the First Army HQ right out of the GHQ base, and some of them are moving back, and if they move back far enough, we'll get a chance to encircle the HQ. I'd like to see if we can effectively encircle that HQ, and that would certainly disrupt their coordination. So I didn't show how I set up the attacks anymore, but you can see it from the red pips, the red arrows, where the direction of the attacks coming in, the little red triangles. So we're attacking a little bit further north, and we're resolving these attacks now. And some of them are being pushed back from Hankou, and then from Chongqing, they've come out. Meanwhile, near the Taoyuan Air Base, we are also resolving those attacks. Hopefully by focusing our attacks in that air base, we can bring the Red Force units out of that area. Now we are concentrating our attacks also near the GHQ base, and bringing our attacks to bear on the 1st Army Group HQ. Notice how they retreated, and they've moved out. So that's good, because then we'll continue our attacks and hopefully encircle them. At least we're pushing them back slowly but surely. We hope to push them out of the air base, and later push them out of the international airport. Although I haven't seen much consequence. I mean, they've been occupying the air base at the international airport, but I don't know if we're already seeing the full complement of the airborne or air capable forces from Red Force moving in. I'm not sure if we've seen that, because what I was expecting is that if the air units, the airborne units can take advantage of the occupation of the international airports and the air bases, then all the reinforcements can start landing in that area and fortifying it and further breaking out, hopefully breaking down. That's how I guess a Red Force strategy would evolve. In the same way that we had our strategy, we were examining or analyzing the strategy in Crete, is land in first, occupy the air bases, and then have the air capable or the other airborne units to be landed into the air bases. So, but anyway, what they're trying to do is the Red Forces are trying to maintain their hold and trying to surround Taipei and trying to maintain their hold in Chiang Kai-shek International. And I think what's going to happen is that that's where the heavy fighting will be. You'll notice that they're fighting back. Some of our units are getting evaporated. This is a reconnaissance unit that's getting badly beaten. Meanwhile, they're bombarding Taipei with jet bombers, is it? And so far, our units occupying Taipei are holding out. And what we'll have to do is get to them, link up to them, supply them, and further fortify that, because that's 90 points, and then the adjacent airport, that's 10 points. That's 100 points. That's a lot. That's a lot. So you don't want that being taken over by Red Force. Okay. But just to continue, we can see here where we move all our units, trying to continue surrounding the enemies around the air base, and what we'll do is overwhelm them by outflanking them. We can move up the reconnaissance unit and the other members of the group. Let's move them up, and these other stacks will move them up. Now I noticed there might be some difficulty because there's a river here in this area, but there's also a road, and what I'm worried about is which terrain feature will be used in computing terrain when the fighting starts. I hope that we can use the river to our advantage and not the other way around. I hope we don't get any penalties for fighting from within a river hex, in other words. Okay. But at least we're starting to surround that HQ unit flag, and let's bring up the flank here near the Chiang Kai-shek International and Taoyuan. And I see that they have air defense units there. Red Force has air defense units there, but I think we can bring up the flank on the left coming up here. And then we'll start with let's see if we can start our attacks on the HQ unit as well. Yes, over here we'll bring it up north here, coming up to Taoyuan, and let's go. Yeah, everybody goes up there. Yeah, so we're going to surround that HQ by going up northeast. Let's try that. Well, I guess that'll be we're gonna turn that into a combat, into an attack. All units attack, but there's only one hex where there are units, so it's going to be a full stack attacking that hex. Maybe I should plan the attack to find out what the odds are. I'm not sure, but at this point, well, that's an HQ, so that'll be good. Into the airbase, if we attack into the airbase, focus fire there, we just might surround the group HQ, and then attack Luchu, kick them out as well. If we do that, I think that'll be a big plus. How many points are we going to get? Well,
we're still far from the 20 points of Chiang Kai-shek International. But coming in from Nankan, we'll be closer. And the closer we get to those in the international airport, I think that'll be so much the better, because like I said, that's 20 points. And if we take them out of the airbase, I think that's also good, because I mean that's 2 points. 1 point from Luchu and 1 point from Taoyuan airbase. So let's continue plotting our attacks. And who do we have here? Looks like the Air Cavalry Brigade, the 601st. They have with them the Artillery Battalion, and we'll come in with, well, these are minor units. They're not main battle units, but here the Air Cav Brigade are main units. There you go. Let's bring them in. Okay, not all of them are able to move in, but let's have them join the attack. The ones that are near the airbase, let's go ahead and have them join the attack as well. See if we can do that. We have the other units. See if they can use artillery, anything, as long as we get to kick them out. Now, as a reminder, if we remove them from the airbase, that will effectively isolate the headquarters unit remaining there. You'll see that over here. Okay. And taking a look at the larger map, getting back to Taipei, do we still have Taipei? 90 points, but the adjacent airport has been occupied already by Red forces. But we'll continue to occupy victory hexes as we go along. There's 5 points here. It looks like it's empty. Maybe we can move in there. Unfortunately, let's think carefully about it, because if we take those 5 points, it might isolate us further. So that's a crucial decision that we'll have to make. But we're taking a look at the other Red Force units, enemies here in the surrounding areas. Maybe some of those have been weakened, or they might have been fragmented because of their paradrops, maybe. And we'll try to take advantage of that weakness and attack them early. Let's see what we can do about that. Now, one of the key points we have to keep in mind is the other units as well. How are they doing? I know some of these are still reorganizing, so I think they've probably been exhausted, or somehow, maybe shaken up by the attacks. We've got these reconnaissance units. We could make good use of them if as soon as they return and become active again. In the meantime, we'll try to move the reserve brigade forward, make use of them, and maintain pressure, especially on that HQ unit. And then we'll attack it. That's just the top unit. It's a paratroop brigade, but it's got an HQ. If we are lucky enough to remove that HQ, it will disrupt again the entire units, the entirety of the other units, and it will reduce their effective capabilities, their effective strength. Okay, let's hope we can do that. Now let's skip a little bit ahead, try to inspect the other units. Let's look at our air units. Now, I don't understand why these two fighter squadrons are at rest. I don't know if these are reinforcements, or I just simply neglected to look at the air unit report. But I think they should be assigned to air superiority missions. After all, it is what they're supposed to do. They're fighter squadrons, I'm thinking. So let's assign them as well. Okay, and continue that. By maintaining air superiority, that will help with the interdiction and combat support missions, Okay, let's resolve the attacks. Okay, coming down on the south, Zhongshan, near Tiwanhua. Let's see if they will retreat. Are they retreating? Let me see. Well, okay, I think both of us suffered losses. They retreated, but they retreated going up further into the 5 points. Okay, so I don't know if we did something right there. On the one hand, we won that battle, but I don't know if it was good for us. Okay, over here we kicked them out, but I think we are reorganizing as well. In Luchu, let's see, are they retreating? Go back. Yes, they are. Let's hope all of them get out. No, some have remained. Okay, northeast of Taoyuan Air Base. We attack. Will the HQ move out? Yes, they have, and we step in closer to isolating the headquarters unit. Okay, 40% of our time is remaining. Okay, it's interesting though that it's a self-propelled gun. It moved in there. Okay, thanks. Thank you, gentlemen. Now, continue the isolation. Yes, we'll surround him. There we go. Are we going to attack him now? Let's see. I think we can continue to isolate further. Or is he? Yeah, continue to isolate further because the air base is still occupied. So, shouldn't we be still trying to clear out that air base? Now let's take a brief look up here near the northern coast and see can we clear out the coastline as well. It looks like there are paratroop units there that are actually, they look pretty strong. They're stacked together, and then there's one that has a high attack strength, and the units that we have there are not necessarily strong enough to dislodge them from that area. So, but we should consider that and take a look at that. Meanwhile, near Taipei, let's think about whether we can remove and clear out this area near Taipei. Looking at the combat planner, it looks like we might have an even chance of doing it, or actually, yeah, a little less of an even chance. Our losses will probably be moderate, although the probability of success is good. Let's see if we can take them and rescue and Taipei. Open up a corridor so that they'll probably get supplies and recuperate as well. Although they're well supplied, I guess within the time scope, I think it's okay. We're supplied. By which I mean that within the time period of, say, about this is about 1 day or half day, staying inside the city, I don't think it'll be a problem. I don't think supply will be a problem for the amount of time each turn takes. I don't think they'll be out of supply. Okay, now let's fast forward and take a look at what the Red forces are doing. They're reinforcing Chiang Kai-shek International and the air base. I think they're trying to push back. They're trying to attack at our weaker units. So our security forces over here. So we'll see if we can do something about it next turn. But it looks like they're toughening up, and they're trying to beef up their resistance so that they can continue holding on not only to the air base. Meanwhile, they're attacking Taipei. They've practically got it surrounded, and they're attacking on all sides. They're bombarding some of our other units as well. We're gonna have to recover from this. Maybe bring in more reinforcements. In the meantime, they keep pushing. Look at that from Kualin. They're reorganizing their front, or their supporting rear. They're pulling back the headquarters units and bringing in lower level headquarters units, and at the same time they're attacking our weaker units, the ones that are reorganizing as well. Meanwhile, they continue using their jet bombers. I guess this is indicative of what some of their battle plans. They're using jet bombers to bombard, and now after the bombardment, more bombardment. They're providing combat support for attacks that are being conducted against our troops, trying to soften up our troops who are defending this island. Also trying to beef up the coastline because we're trying to envelope them. If we can break through that and push on them again, it will further weaken and shorten their front, and we can concentrate our forces surrounding them. They won't be able to use all of their forces. Hopefully, that's the intention. But they're beefing it up. Well, on the good side, if they try to beef it up, then at least that's more forces that are not being able to push back, or at least those are forces that are being tied up. Goodness gracious, their jet bombers are providing interdiction for just about everything. Okay, so about 13 battles are happening, and we've suffered a few losses. Maybe one of them bombardment suffered 14% losses. But I noticed that most of these attacks are bombardments, not so much as actual attacks. I'm wondering what's the strategy behind that. I noticed a similar strategy which was employed in the Chosin video, if you care to watch it. I don't know is it because of the availability of air assets, that is why they resort to bombardment, or is it part of the script? Or is it part of the doctrine and it was implemented in the script by the creator of this scenario? I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not criticizing the strategy. I just want to know. I wonder why. I just like to know why the AI is doing it that way. Maybe it makes sense. I'm not an expert on it. Maybe it's better for the AI. Either in its estimation, maybe it's better for the AI to just bombard the enemies, or it could also be that in the thinking of the scenario creator, they believe that the Red Force will most probably implement that kind of strategy. I'm not sure, because it's just curious that I see a similar strategy or a similar emphasis on bombardment from the Chosin Reservoir video gameplay that we've had prior to this. So that's very interesting. Okay, so let's continue and find out how we are going to push back, and we will also beef up our own resources and further surround Taiwan Air Base. And if we can isolate this again, I know it's only one point, but I feel that it might be important to secure the airbase, and that way prevent further reinforcements from coming in. I don't really know if reinforcements are flying in, but it just seems to me to make sense to do it that way. You seize the airbase of an island so that follow-on air mobile forces can be brought in through the airbase. But even if we get the airbase, there's also Chiang Kai-shek International Airport. Maybe they will be bringing in forces there, which is why it's so important for us to get those 20 points and bring up these other units, the Artillery Command, Artillery Battalion, Infantry Brigade HQ, to bring it up here and continue to push. There seems to be some way to do that. I'm hoping I can do that as well. Take for example this weak unit with attack strength 2 and defense strength 1. Looks like we were able to use an airstrike, supporting as a combat support, I guess, and or maybe we were under attack by the airstrike. Maybe he was using interdiction. But the bottom line is we overran that unit and further went deeper behind the unit garrisoning Chiang Kai-shek International Airport. Now, I wonder if we can also we'll probably make use of this sliver, this one hex forming here, and see if we can make further inroads and attack that high-level headquarters, attack strength 1 and defense strength 3. And ooh, look at that! We just took Taiwan Air Base. We kicked out the weakened forces there. So that by pushing up even further up and further in, as it were, we'll be able to shorten their front further. Hopefully they'll be constrained, and they won't be able to maneuver and escape our clutches. We'll basically circle around them and crush them. Okay, so let's see if we can do that and continue and with the other units and bring them up to the front. And selecting the weakened fronts here, you just gotta be careful, because if you look at those stacks are pretty deep, and they might just be we might just be looking at some of their weaker units on top, and lo and behold, we might be in for a painful surprise if we try to attack it, and it turns out that they also contain some very strong units with very strong defenses. But the ultimate, the last and final thing that we can do is just make sure that we bring to bear overwhelming force and then attack. I think that's the best way that we can overcome the defense that they are mounting up here. But I'm heartened to see that their defense has shrunk. I mean, before they've occupied up to the airbase, but now you notice they've pushed back. They've been pushed back, and if we can push back even further, bring them to the coast, and maybe if we push them to the coast, they'll be back. There'll be no escape for them. One point though is that some people would say that it goes against the principle of Sun Tzu, where you must give the enemy a place for retreat. I guess that's an interesting point. And by giving the enemy a place for retreat, what you're actually doing is you're allowing the enemy to think, not to fight as hard as he could, because he knows he's got a place to retreat, and therefore he will take that as an option. I think that's the thinking behind it. But in this case, this is an island, and we don't really want. There's really no place for them to retreat. We either eliminate them, either the island forces eliminate them and just take care of them, and there's no way for them to retreat. The only way for them to retreat would be to go to the coast, get off the island, and that's the only way for them to retreat. So that's why we're going to push them all the way to the coast. In the meantime, we've got 10 points here at the airport near Taipei, and I think it would be good to again make that push. The only thing is, by surrounding this area and making that push, something tells me that if any of these units retreat, their choice of retreat will be to go back to that airport. So I'm not sure how I'm going to go in through. There's an open gap over here between Taolong and Tachi, but I'm not sure if I can squeeze through that and go to the airport. Looks like I'm gonna have to do this the hard way, and push them into the airport and hopefully eliminate them. Meanwhile, we'll just continue to fortify Taipei and hope that nobody can get in. And over there, let's build up our attacks and identify all of the places where we will attack, and activate some of the other units that are available. And just make sure that air units are ready. We'll put some for air superiority, and then let's resolve all the attacks. How are we doing? Let's see what we're attacking. This is our reserve brigade. And we are attacking Nankin. Oh, I'm surprised they didn't go into the airport. Okay, so, but will there be advance after combat as well? That I don't know. How about this one? This unit from Tachi uh, will probably push, will probably retreat as well. But it did not go into the airport. Didn't give a full retreat either. So I don't know if you'll get another chance to do that. And then, okay, we're concentrating forces here, north of the airbase. Looks like we're looking at some weakened paratroop units. Not really weakened paratroop units, but I think this is a small part of the paratroop units. And they've moved back. They've lost 89%, have they? No, well, they didn't lose 89%, but rather they did an 89% check loss. So that's interesting. And then let's continue our attacks. Let's see, we can't seem to move forward, and we can't attack them from that region west, because there's probably a river hex there. But maybe what we can do is we can move forward and get ourselves closer to the airport. Now, I guess this is a question for the AI, because a human player would probably prefer occupying the airport and hunkering down. I don't know why they've opted to stay out of it. That's curious. Perhaps it is a trap. It could be a trap, because if we push in a weak unit there, it will be surrounded from 4 hexes. So maybe that's what they're thinking. Maybe that's what the AI is thinking. I don't know if I'm giving too much credit for the AI, but no, wait. I mean, this is a pretty smart AI actually. So maybe that's what it's trying to do. Maybe it's trying to bait me. Okay, the red forces are trying to bait us into going into the airport and then find ourselves surrounded. In the meantime, we'd like to move forward and complete that connection with Taipei, but it seems that we're having it's a similar question, it's a similar choice. You move forward, you'll be fighting on both sides, on 2 sides. So I wonder about that. Meanwhile, in Chiang Kai-shek, I think we've got a good option of surrounding them, but not all units have sufficient movement points to continue their attack. I think some of them don't have that ability anymore. I mean, they've used up their movement, so maybe they can't join in the attack. So that's a calculated risk. So who else can move in? Who else can go here? If we move some of these units here, we'll be passing through the zone of control of the other red forces, and if we do it that way, we'll use up a lot of movement points. Using up the movement points could mean that we won't have enough movement points for the attack. So that's another problem to think about. So, but let me see, 4 movement points, 1 movement point, that's 5 movement points. Let's bring in a reconnaissance unit, so that when we attack, we'll at least have some kind of first strike capability, and that'll be helpful as well. Moving up these available units, I think what these units are going to do is to fend off that stack of units near one of our HQs with attack strength 3, defense strength 2. Will be north west of Nankan. We'll do that so that we can push that back as well, and further strengthen our ability to go to Kualin and again surround Chiang Kai-shek. Okay. Meantime, we fortify our units near the coast. It's gonna be a standoff, but at least what we're doing is we are tying up some of the red forces, and they're not able to defend Chiang Kai-shek because they're busy trying to defend this area of the coast here. Is there a target of opportunity? Look at that. Attack strength 2, defense strength 1. We have an attack strength of 5. Oh, but if we attack there, maybe that will punch a hole through and isolate that unit there. So that sounds like a good idea. So let's plan an attack there. And then for Tachi, let's continue with attacking that area because now there are 3 hexes surrounding it. And come on, let's resolve it. No, do we have anything else? Okay, just checking on our air units. We've got one for combat support. We've got interdiction for later, and then air superiority in case the um, red forces are trying to use their own air attacks against us. Okay, so let's resolve the attacks. I'm hopeful about this. Let's do this. They will retreat. Okay. Okay, just as I thought. Oh, so they were actually they're actually defending from a river hex, so that also might have helped weaken their position, I think. And then over here in this city, it's a stack, but they're being attacked from 2 sides. Have they been eliminated? Well, there's 100% check loss. 70% of our movement remains. That frees up some of it. Maybe we can squeeze in somebody here. Can we squeeze in anybody? No, they can't seem to move into that river hex, but they can still attack into northwest, to that northwest area. Is that a good idea? I'm not sure because it's a river hex, but they might have had time to fortify themselves. So, and they've been beefing up their defenses as well. But every little bit helps, I guess, if we push them back. Now we're starting to get an opportunity here. If we move into the Tachi hexagon, then we further strengthen our position for taking the airport. Let's hope that works. But I think I'd like to, before putting myself in that position, surrounded in that airport, I think I'd either want to actually remove some of the units on the side, or come up with a strong force and let that roll in to the airport. Make the red forces think twice about taking the airport. I think we've got another opportunity to attack some of the side units, particularly this stack. But I don't know if there are other units on that stack that can actually defend against my motorized infantry. And then, but if there's an opportunity, we can take it. But in the meantime, let's take Shilin, and from there maybe we can go south and get Datong area from Taipei. But every little bit, I think our units have strengthened, and we've group moved the entire hex. If we can move in here as well, we'll further put a flank on Chugshan. I think, if I can read it correctly. But if we do that, or maybe in Datong, if we can do that, that'll be great. By surrounding them. Well, they're not really be considered flanked. I think you'll have to be on opposite sides of the hex in order to do that. I'm not sure. But if we move these forces further, we'll have a stronger grip in getting the airport, and hopefully strengthen our hold on Taipei. So let's go ahead and resolve the attack, and let's see what we can do. Oh, nobody made the attack, so it's China's turn now. Okay, they're reorganizing their front, and we are using interdiction. We're bombing them even as they try to move, and now it's their turn using jet bombers on combat support, and we're going to attack. Let's see, they are attacking us at Qingmei and at Nehu, but I'm not getting the logic behind this. I would probably think they would probably just bombard at this point. If I were in the position of the AI, I'm not sure if I'll be in a position to fight back. But then again, the point wise, the AI red forces are on the back foot, I would say, and I guess they have no choice. They'll have to act and try to reclaim more points if they have any hope of winning. Defensive play at this point is just not gonna work, because if the more they try to be defensive, then time will be on the side of blue force or our forces, and if we do that, they're basically programmed to lose that way. So the only thing that they can do is look for a way to regain points in order to have any hope of winning this scenario, or even at least bringing it to a draw. So I guess that's why they're trying to fight their way through. I'm hopeful that it would fail, because oh no, but look at that, we've retreated because of their attacks. Although we've suffered less, but our units have moved back and retreated as well, and they've continued their bombardments and their maybe just one attack. Okay, so we've still got the points on our side, and but I hope that we can last, and I hope it lasts. I haven't checked the scenario well enough to know whether they still have new reinforcements coming in, or maybe this is it. It's as good as it gets, because if they're not going to get new reinforcements, it looks to me like it's going to be very difficult for them, for Red Force, to continue and to recover and regain those points. Well, now that I think about the points here, I think it's important for Red Force to gain also Taipei Harbor, but they didn't get that. They didn't get that, and that would be important. And then they'll have these one pointers, but Taipei is more important because it's worth 90 points. But for Chiang Kai-shek International, I'm not sure. But let's consider. Let's consider how it will work out if we attack the coastal units. Should we? I think what we could do is move forward into that river hex and further isolate that one unit. Yeah, that one. That I think if we remove that, it will make it difficult for them. In the meantime, we've got some units that we are reorganizing. In particular, the reconnaissance unit is reorganizing, and that will be very difficult for them to recover if they are attacked. So we're going to need to put some units in that hex. In the meantime, over here, going up into Chiang Kai-shek as well, putting in more units, such that if we move them forward, and if we have all units attack that area, there'll be a concentration of force, and hopefully we can push them back. Okay, we've got HQ, anti-air, we got artillery. That is basically for support. I think we can stay put. We don't need to move. And in the meantime, you'll notice the red circles near some of these units. It means they are basically very seriously overcrowded in that hex. Not a fan of why I did that. But maybe I'm just trying to bring everything to bear as well. But I think that we need not have done that. And at the time that I was playing this, maybe I had forgotten that dictum that I should put the HQ and the artillery units into a reserve status, so that they can provide their support to all battles that are happening within their radius of influence, their radius where they can provide cover, some kind of artillery cover. But we'll see if we can move these forward. Oh, we got a fresh, relatively fresh stack over there. Let's bring them up. That armored infantry, I think, or is it mechanized infantry? Let's bring them up and see how far we can go on the attack. Okay, now do we dare plan the attack already? Not sure. I'm not sure, but maybe bring everybody up to the front, and for that just do all units attack. I wish there was some way to gather intelligence. Well, we can plan the attack and find out. You know, over here they've probably got some very strong units stacked up. But if it's going to hurt me more to attack them, I might be inclined not to. I'll probably just roll up and reduce his units outside of that airport even further. Here in Taipei, we've got we can continue moving in near Datong, and let me see what are his units that he's got there, and hopefully if we can, I'm hoping that we can push them from that area and open a channel for supplies and bring the units in Taipei back in supply. But they're at full readiness too. I mean, they're not losing out on supply. 90 points, they're all in Taipei, and given the time frame of about half a day, I guess they're fully rationed, and the units in Taipei are not in danger of being out of supply. Worst case scenario, the other citizens of the city are probably helping them. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the mechanic that they're using here. Yeah. So they'll be well supplied in that city, given the half-day turns that we have here. Okay. And so let's see if we need, or if we could, organize any more battles. Apparently from Sanchong I don't think I can attack, but as for the others, for that unit in Taipei, no, don't attack anybody. Just hunker down and fortify. I think that's the way to do it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, we've got our air units. Again, they're ready. And if so, then maybe we can finally resolve our battles. No, we didn't resolve our battles. We just ended our turn because we didn't plan any attacks. And now it's up to China to make its move, beefing up the international airport, moving its headquarters out of the way. Okay, and from our point, we're also being bombarded by their jet bombers. Oh, but some of those jet bombers are resting, I noticed. Okay. And now they're really trying to attack. Some of those jet bombers are resting, but I think some of them are trying to attack. Some of them are trying to bombard. Paratroop brigades are making their move. We've fortified Peikang Army Base, and then in Wukukeng, apparently it's being attacked by guerrillas, but hang in there, guys. And over here, okay, so some of these units are trying to move, but they're also being hit by our interdiction missions, which is good. We might be able to isolate those coastal units near Chu Wei, and if we can do that, we can further isolate. If you isolate the coastal areas, then you'll also isolate the international airports. So lots of bombing going on. All of it is bombing, and some of them trying to disengage. Okay, turn 11. 11, 12, 13. I think there's about 3 or 4 more turns here to go, and let's hope we can keep it up. But not just keep it up, we want to see how far we can push them back. I noticed that the headquarters unit is alone. It's a 15th Corps HQ. That looks like a target of opportunity. I think we should attack that unit. Full stack attack it. And either we'll overrun it
but I hope it evaporates. I hope we eliminate it. Okay, and in the meantime, let's strengthen our. Let's attack on all fronts. Yeah, let's attack them. Those areas or units which are isolated or which are not stacked and they're weak, let's take those targets of opportunity. Let's already go ahead and attack them. In the meantime, we're still, well, maybe we should be patient with Chiang Kai-shek. It's quite a big stack, but I think what we are doing is what we want is to isolate it so that later on it'll be surrounded. Just take note that there is an airborne unit, an airborne reconnaissance unit in the southwest area from Taiwan, and there we go. So let's bring up those units. Okay, our security forces overran them. Cool. Okay, so now let's try moving these units from Shilin, and I wonder if we can attack across the river into that hex over there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's possible, but we can try. But I'm looking at some of these roads and how they interconnect with that river hex northwest of, south of Shilin, and I'm not sure if I read the rules correctly whether we can actually attack across the river going down south into that 5 points there at Chugshan. And so from here, let's see if we can resolve combat from here. Yep. The coastal areas are being attacked. It's only got a defense strength of 2 and it's being attacked from 2 hexes. Will there be advance after combat? We'll see. No, there isn't any. This HQ, boy, I wish it would evaporate. Most probably it's just gonna retreat. But it's only got a defense strength of 2 and it's being attacked. So it retreated into Kualin. Now, but at least look at that. They look a little bit more isolated now, surrounded on so many fronts. Chiang Kai-shek International is now surrounded by practically 5 hexes, from 5 hexes. So that's a good thing. And hopefully if we do an all units attack, they'll have no other choice but to leave the international airport. But some of these units are being dispersed, and we're advancing after combat again. I think that's a good thing. We've still got 90% of our time remaining, so let's further advance. I would probably attack that solitary 1 defense strength airborne unit, and now we've surrounded them. The only problem is this rocket unit over here might be vulnerable. It's fortified, but it might be vulnerable to that coastal unit over there. But we've got lots of artillery. Let's go ahead. This looks like a target of opportunity. Should we do all units attack? Let me see. Let's attack all of this. Okay, and then should we do an all units attack here? I mean, they're basically weakened. Okay, that would be a full stack attack, and then all units attack at Chiang Kai-shek. And if we do that, then they'll be attacked on all fronts, wouldn't they? But what was I thinking when I was doing this? Okay, now how about this? All units attack here. I mean, it's only got the defense strength of 1. It should be overwhelmed, shouldn't it? I mean, that's 3:1. Right click on it. Okay, it wasn't destroyed. Okay. So all units attack from there. So we've got 2 hexes attacking that 1 hex over there. Meanwhile, over here, we are really going to attack Kualin and isolate Chiang Kai-shek International Airport. At least I think that's the plan. In the meantime, I'm just glad that the airborne units there near Peikang Army Base are not moving in. Oh, that's interesting here. We've moved forward. Okay, and then moving these units up here to further solidify our hold. Move these units into Taiwan. We're trying to encircle. We're basically encircling Chiang Kai-shek. Then from Taiwan Air Base, we've got some units. I hope they have recovered. Moving northwest, and then let's all units attack.
shall we? Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we do all units attack? Thinking. Okay. Oh, this is really going to be. These stacks are all so dense. I think if they bombard, if they give us a bombardment, we will not be able to maneuver out of the way, I think. But be that as it may, I think it's a good thing that we are concentrating our forces. In their forces are concentrated too, but when we attack them, I'd like to think that it's going to be a target-rich environment. Okay? And so let's move up our units, further strengthening it. We've already set up a battle there. I'm wondering how many hexes will attack Kualin. I'm thinking maybe those 3 hexes should attack Kualin, and then the other 3 will attack Chiang Kai-shek International Airport. I can't remember which one I did. Let's see. Okay, group composition, mostly artillery. Yeah. Okay, so let's see, formation, we're good. Can we start and resolve our attacks? Most of them will be here in near the airport of Chiang Kai-shek. We're attacking. Oh, okay, so it was just a 1 unit, and it evaporated. It was a 1 defense strength unit, and it was overrun by our armor. We still got 60% of our movement, so let's move. Let's make our moves as well. Follow up. Yeah, we move up over there. I think, I'm hoping, if we can do that, and then if we can further, are we able to move up, and then attack, make all of our units attack Kualin? So just a quick fast forward. Let's try to move up from this area over here and bring it closer to Taipei. That way we can finally connect with Taipei, bringing up some more units over here so that they can't close the gap and surround us. And then yeah, once we complete that, we'll see if we can open it up further by attacking Ta'an, maybe. Is that a calculated risk? Would that work? I'm not sure, but let's give it a try. No, we're not. Just fortify Taipei. Let's not move out of Taipei. Fortify it. Maintain our hold on it. I'm surprised though that throughout all this time, if I were the computer AI, I might have made a desperate attempt to get Taipei by now. It's now turn 11. I think, what, just 2 more turns, is it? If there's just 2 more turns, I'd probably try to make a desperate attempt to take Taipei. So let's see how it works. Combat results, nothing much. And then it's China's turn. They're starting to move out of the airport. I hope that's weakening them. Their guerrilla units are trying to move, but they're being harassed by air interdiction. Okay, are they starting to move back? Kualin, is it under attack? Okay, no, I think they're trying to. What are they trying to do? Are they trying to attack us? Yeah, they did a very weak attack. Taipei is also under attack. Okay, oh no, it's just a bombardment actually. But is the bombardment a prelude to an actual attack? We'll see. Okay, so they're trying to break out of the international airport, but and it so happens we're being pushed back. Ooh. Okay, who's gonna advance? Nobody's gonna advance after combat. We've been badly hit there. That's what happens when you have that target-rich environment. Maybe we should continue attacks on Kualin, and then over here, stay strong, guys. Don't retreat. We should fortify. Oh, they've set up a lot of attacks actually on all these fronts. Very busy. These guys are very busy. Okay, they're trying to push us back, but so far we're holding. They're trying to push us out of Taipei, and so far we are also holding. Okay, what's going to come next? Going through all of the enemy units. Jet bombers coming in. Well, they're resting. I mean, if they're resting, then let them rest. Ooh, okay, they move back. but at least we have some tactical reserves that they move front again, so that's good. That's good. Meanwhile, over here near Taipei, they're trying to remove our connection. Oh, did they succeed? Oh no, oh no. But we have some units in reserve and they're taking their place. Okay, and we continue. These units, what's going on? Okay, so that ends their turn. And let me see, we're now turn 12, one last turn I think. But can we recover? Can we reclaim unit that we've lost? Or do we just go ahead and push them out of the airport? I don't know. We've still got units in tactical reserve. We can bring them up. We can bring them up and push on those areas. Ooh, the tables have turned. Now we have units that are out of supply. Do you notice that one of our units densely stacked, attack strength 3, defense strength 5. It's on it's built defenses, but look at the black square on the upper right corner, which indicates that it is out of supply. So in the meantime, the armored unit that we have southeast of Kualin is in red, so it indicates that it's in poor health. And then others are starting to get exhausted as well. But this is not the time to give up. We're close to pushing them out, or we certainly can't rest, because if we rest, it will allow them to rest, recover, and then maybe attack us further. We can't do that. We've got to maintain our attacks, and we've got to keep on pushing them out. We've got units that are on tactical reserve. Some of them are actually very strong in the double digits. But will that be enough? Should we plan our attack to find out? Okay. So let's already plan the attack. All units attack. Let's see if we can push them out. In any case, I'm thinking that the units are. I'm thinking that our units here are already. That our units here are about as fully recovered as they can, and I'm thinking that with the 2 turns remaining, we've got little to lose. Just go ahead and try to regain that. If we fail, then at least we still have our current score standing, but if we win, then we increase our score standing, and there won't be much time for them to push us back afterwards if the scenario is ending. Provided, of course, that my calculation on the amount of time left is correct. That is, and that's the important thing. Okay, so let's get our other units into play, and let's move up. Can we move up this unit, this stack here? Okay, now this infantry, motorized infantry, looks like it's in amber or orange. So it's not doing very well either. Meanwhile, should we reinforce our units connecting to Taipei, and at the same time, should we attack those other units sitting outside of the airport? I'm thinking maybe it would be a good idea, because they can be attacked on 3 flanks. And meantime, we've got engineers over here, and they can attack across the river. I hope so. But let's see. Okay, maybe we can already fast forward and see how this works. Okay, we've beefed up our force, and well, it's only 1.6 to 1. Might not be the best odds. But if we can attack them and take the airport, that will be 10 points. So what's it gonna be? Let's move forward. And can this stack? All units attack here? Can we do all units attack? Come on, that's right. Oh, I keep forgetting. We can't really see what I did here because it pops up in a separate window, and that window is on a different layer, and apparently it was not captured by my screen capture software. I think I might have to change it. Instead of saying that it should capture the window, of the operational art of war, maybe it should capture the whole screen so that you could see even the little windows that pop up on a different layer. It's something to think about. I keep wondering about it. Or maybe, maybe there are some other war games that we could try that will allow us to show everything that we're doing here. Yeah, thinking about it. The only advantage not the only advantage, but one advantage that I see in Operational Art of War is because it has so many scenarios, and I've said this before, it's like having several different war games all in one package. So that's why I like it. Okay, that's why I enjoy playing this game. It's just that I can't necessarily play all of the games. Ah, okay. So we actually pushed them out of what's that? Is it Songshan University? Yeah. We pushed them out there. I hope. If I recall correctly, I think that's gonna be pushed back because with a defense strength of 6, it's not so bad. I'm hoping the AI will think twice before attacking that unit. Okay, and then from Lingku Army Base, let me see. Okay, air unit report. We're ready. Resolve all attacks. Let's try to push them out. If we can push them out, we can put that unit back in supply. Okay. Okay, can we push them out? Any reaction? Any reaction? 28% losses for them, but they did not budge. Meanwhile, all the units are attacking the international airport. And will they run to Kualin? Is that where they're going to go? Okay, let me see. Oh, they've got units that are evaporating? Wait a minute, is that ours or is it theirs? Okay. Oh, we move in. They evaporated. So that's great. That's great. We've advanced in, and the Red Force unit in Chiang Kai-shek has evaporated, giving us 20 points. That's great. And furthermore, giving us a line of supply to our units north of the international airport. Now they are still reorganizing and they're in pretty bad shape. That's the problem. But hopefully, if they can hold, they'll be resupplied. They will recover. They will. Now, what else can we do from this point? I'm thinking we've got a fresh unit there south, 15 attack strength, 10 defense strength. We should bring that up and either beef up our out of supply units or again attack Kualin and kick them out from there. They'll be surrounded. Is what I'm thinking, and I think that'll be a great idea. Okay, so let's try to do that, and let's try to move up. We've got another unit over here, 16. Yeah, group move up there, and then hopefully all units attack to Kualin. Come on, give it to me. Let's do that. Okay, let's attack them. Okay, let's attack them. So as we're trying to plan our attack, you'll see maybe I think we're starting to get overwhelming odds here. I'm hoping. Look at that, 5.5 to 1. Our losses will probably be extremely heavy though. Ooh. But our odds are 5.5 to 1. And then if we add more units into the fray, then our losses will be light and probability of success at 8:1. I think that's great. Take note of that. At odds of 8.8 to 1, probability becomes excellent, and losses become very light. So I don't know if that's what it would take every time, if you need to get it 8.8 to 1 every time. Maybe it takes into account terrain, the offensive terrain. I don't know. Okay, and then but we'll get to that in a minute. In the meantime, let's see what we can do here in Taipei. I don't want to rest on our laurels and just wait. I'd like to see if I could take the airport, and who knows, maybe the other 5 points surrounding that area as well. That might be a good idea. So let's fast forward to resolving the attack. Okay. we put overwhelming force, and I'm hoping we keep them out. At least that's what was promised by the odds calculator. What's going on? Yeah, they evaporated. Yeah, the whole hexagon. Okay, good, good. Which further isolates Qualian. Oh, no rounds left. Okay. Okay, China's turn. What are they gonna do? Okay. They'll probably try to extricate themselves. They're trying to attack our poorly supplied units. Hopefully we can hold out. And they're bombarding some of our other units with a jet bomber. It's on an interdiction mission. Why is it bombing us then? I don't know. Okay. I don't know how that works. Okay, so some units, paratroop brigade, are attacking us, but we are holding out. We're holding out, and then again they're trying to attack our connecting unit, and they have succeeded. But we have units in reserve, and they flow right into Chungchang. Okay, maintaining the connection to Taipei, and they are retreating back again. Boy, I never realized that this can actually be so exciting. They're pushing us back. We've got reserves moving in, and then they push back the reserves. But it's very tenuous. We now have a sliver of a unit with attack strength 1, defense strength 2 right there. If they attack that one more time, it's probably gonna get kicked out. Now they're trying to attack our new and fresh forces, but I'm hoping that we are very strong there. Oh, they're attacking us again, and we are holding. We are holding, gentlemen. They're attacking our units northwest of Nankan. Meanwhile, more units are coming in, bombing. 9 battles happened. It is now turn 13. Okay, this is the last turn, and I'm hoping that that our units, the losses we've inflicted upon them, and the key territories that we have gained from them, I'm hoping that the points will be in our favor, and I'm hoping that this will be the last turn, and the points will be in our favor, and that we will score a victory. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited. Can't we just fast forward and find out? So on this front, one thing that we can consider is the odds of attacking it. Okay, we got 3.6 odds. Our probability of success is excellent, but look at the odds. Net odds. We're moving it. What is this? We've got negative 2.15, negative 0.4, but our probability of success is excellent. What's up with that? Losses will be light. I don't understand why or how that works. I mean, he computes the odds. The odds are very poor, but the probability of success is excellent. I'll have to think about how that works. I'm not sure how the computer computes the odds. Is it because from the perspective of force and numerical force, maybe we are not very much ahead, but in terms of capability, maybe we can still defeat them. Like maybe they've got mostly artillery from long range, but we're going to be attacking them at short range. So even though our comparative numerical strengths put us at a disadvantage, but the actual abilities of our equipment and material still provide us with a significant advantage that we can have a high probability of success. I don't know if I'm overthinking this, but I think that but I'm wondering why it's like that. Anybody, by all means, if you are also experts at the operational art of war and you know what's going on, do let me know. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with the game. I'm just saying I don't know enough about the game to understand why the report came out that way. But I believe it enough to actually stage a battle there, push them out. Same time, beefing up the airport and maintaining our hold on 20 points over there. Now in Taipei, is there any chance we can get those extra 10 points? Is there any way that we can hold on to that? Can we push further? I got some units that don't have enough movement points. We've gotten hit by an airstrike, but we have taken over the airport. Now, was that bait? Are they going to attack us there? We've only got one unit. So, we've only got one unit in that airport, but let's see if we can also attack the Chugshan area across the river, and if we can push them out there, then it will weaken his ability to attack the airport and push us out of the airport. Same time, maybe we can have most of our units attack in the southeast southeast direction of the airport, so that he'll think twice about trying to attack the airport. We'll see. Oh, look at that! Our unit, National Salvation Corps, seems to be out of supply, so we've tried to take it out, but we're not giving up yet. We'll try to bring in maybe another unit to bolster it. Again, we'll try to add more units here to our connection. Yeah, stack move. That'll be great. And let me see what else. No attacks planned. There are no attacks planned. Maybe we should plan an attack against Chugshan. Okay. And then what else? Let's move this forward faster. Meanwhile, let's make our move further from Hanko area, and if we move them further, and maybe we can work on isolating them. Yeah, but oh, we are under attack from enemy aircraft. Okay, and for this HQ, I was wondering, should we bother moving it? Look at that, we just left a fortification there. Ah, but we made room for more of our motorized brigade. Yeah, sounds good. Maybe we should do that. Okay, let's go here. Or we should concentrate on attacking Chugshan. Maybe. Let me see. We got 0.968 odds. Okay, let's hope. I don't want to use the Taipei unit. I want you to conserve your strength throughout the whole time. Just make sure that nobody takes Taipei away from you. That's the important thing at this point. No, not at this point. Throughout this entire scenario, I just don't want to give up Taipei. That's 90 points, and I'm trying to maintain any victory points that I have. Okay, so again we are under attack, but we are moving the entire stack from Nehu, and we shall attack them. Come on, all units attack. Yeah. Okay, that's good. That's great. Okay, let's see how that will work out. And then if we push them out of the way, then that gives us another chance to push them out of Songshan. Okay, and let's just make sure that our units are ready. Put them all on air superiority. I don't recall how they got into rest mode, but I think it's about time that we resolve our attacks. Okay, we're pushing out the HQ units. Okay, from north of Chiang Kai-shek. They are running for the coast. Some of them have even been evaporated. Okay, airborne divisions. Okay. And north of Kualin, we are attacking them. I think it's a stack of only 2 units, and we've got all of our units together. There we go. Okay, they retreated, and we've advanced after combat. I wonder if we can continue our advance. Okay, guys, how about this? Okay, how about this? Shouldn't we attack here? Okay, well, now that we had Chu Wei, I think what we'll do is maybe all units attack Kualin. It's totally out of supply, totally surrounded. That paratroop brigade, totally surrounded. I think what we can do is, if all units attack it, it'll have no place to go. It will basically evaporate. Okay, let's not give him a chance to push back
our units. Oh, one more thing I noticed. Do you notice those three dots next to the unit symbols? We're basically ignoring losses now, meaning we attack and we just keep on attacking and until we achieve our objective. It's a little bit dangerous to adopt that kind of stance for most units. In most combat, you just want two dots, which is basically moderate, just provide for moderate losses, moderate acceptable losses. And the reason for that is you just want to attack normally. If you ignore the losses, then you just keep on attacking even though you're losing many of your units already. And if you're not careful, you might end up losing all of your units. You might end up losing the unit because it kept on attacking even though it was suffering heavy losses already. Something to think about. Keep it in mind when you're planning your attacks, and when you should use moderate losses and when you should use minimized losses. Well, just as an aside, minimized losses, you can use that for probing attacks. Just weakly attack some hex and then determine what kind of unit you have there, the enemy has there. But here, some of those units there near the airport, we are so eager to attack them that we have actually set it to ignore losses. Do one more check of our air power and we attack while in. And let's see, motorized brigade on the attack. And let's see, we continue our attacks. You notice some of them are breaking off the attack. I thought they were not supposed to break off their attack because of their status of ignoring losses. Okay, but despite enemy aircraft, the entire unit evaporated because it was fully surrounded, and we attacked, and then we just took over. Now, what about this? Are we trying to consolidate this? Are we trying to are we going to still make any further attacks, or are we happy to just rest? Well, let's see if we can press our attack and see what it gets us. I mean, 5 points is 5 points. Why not? We've already got our 10 points. But we have some units basically surrounded. So if we can plan our attack and most of the units can attack southeast of the airport, it might be interesting to find out if what kind of damage we can inflict upon them. Okay. So now we continue. Are we continuing our attack, or enemy aircraft are attacking us? Probably from their interdiction. Okay, and providing their own combat support. Interesting point. That's a lot of aircraft that they have, and it's China's turn now. They've probably, over here in this part, they got no other choice but to go for the coast. I don't know how they're gonna go back. This is an island, and they'll have no way of going back. They might just, I don't know if they'll end up surrendering. But I'm not sure if the scenario allows for that. Okay. Oh no. We've been attacked, and they've actually kicked out or destroyed our unit at the airport. Fortunately, we have other units in reserve, but even though we move forward, we got pushed back. So this gives the Red Force an opportunity to retake it. But will it retake it, or will it spend more of its points bombarding our units? I should look this up as to whether or not straightforward bombardment is any good. Okay. But they continue their bombardments, probably because also their units would be very weakened if they straight up attacked us. Yeah, and so to prevent that, the remaining forces that it can do is to attack us with jet bombardment. Okay. Ooh, we've got artillery units there near Taan, and it's only got one unit. Fortunately, we have other units in reserve to move in, but that means we are weakening our forces in Chongqing. Okay, and so rounding this up with our bombardments, I guess. Okay, 10 battles happened. Okay, our turn. Turn 14. Turn 14. I thought it would have ended by now. Okay, so more of our units. Let's move them forward. Continuing our pushing them to the coast. Oh, we actually overrun them and they're moving forward. I hope it didn't stretch too far because we've suddenly exposed our infantry unit. Okay, so that's good. So we move in our other infantry units because they have run. And I wonder if we can attack this coastal area. Because if we can attack them, then we try air units attack, all units attack, but the probability of success is excellent. These are basically HQ units. Sure, I'll take it. Let's attack them. If we remove the, if we successfully remove, we have practically decimated the entire force. We've practically eliminated the entire force that has taken over Chiang Kai-shek International Airport. It was an airborne force, and as mentioned before, airborne attacks are difficult to execute because once your units land, they'll be fragmented probably, and so it's hard for them to recover and consolidate. And we did not give them a chance to consolidate. We kept on hammering them, and hopefully that has resulted in what you see right now. I'd like to think that's what we did. In the same token, we have now reached the coast, and what we want to do is to push them even further. They'll have no place of escape. I wonder if that helicopter is gonna get hit, but we're going to we'll work on recovering for some of our other units. But as the other units recover, we'll move them forward. If the turn will allow for it. We're now at turn 14, and I had thought that this will end at turn 13. Something tells me we might have 1 or 2 more turns remaining, because this has been set to randomly end, and it will not automatically end on the game length, the specified game length. There's a certain random number generation, random generation here, randomness here, meaning it adds a little excitement because you don't know if it will end sooner or later. I guess that's what's happening here. Okay, but it gives us a chance to continue our attacks, and hopefully if we gain even more points, it gives us an opportunity to increase our score, so to speak, our level of victory. Okay, so let's see if we can do that. Well, for starters, we can recover the airport. That's 10 points, and then can we reinforce it as much as we can, and then attack. Should we attack them? Let's see if we can attack them. Plan the attack, and then institute it. Don't include Taipei. The garrison of Taipei should continue to fortify. Okay, and then for Ta'an, can we take that? Well, I don't know if we can do that, but that's 5 points, and we've got two hexes there that can attack it. So I think that'll maybe that'll help. If we take that, then that's 5 points. Okay, now these new units, maybe we can all units attack here, or maybe we should plan the attack and not include the units that have just entered the airport. But let's go ahead and fast forward, and let's go ahead and attack the coastal area. I'm really enjoying it, pushing them back to the coast. Can we end our turn? Oh, okay, so it's their turn now. China's moving. Ooh, what was that? They moved the helicopter unit as well. but it's continuing its attacks. Okay, is it trying to push back? No, it's just trying to bombard us. You'll notice the headquarters units are trying to disperse, trying to give us a broad front, trying to surround our other units, and at the same time, they're just trying to bombard us. Ooh, they pushed us out of the airport again. Okay, now this is an interesting scenario where the airport is changing hands, and at the same time we give our they're trying to move their units, but we're just trying to attack them with interdiction. Okay, and let's see how many more units, how many more turns do we have here. But let's move our units upward, forward, and then maybe we can. I think these units are weakened already. But they're trying to entrench. But if we can attack them, okay, one more step closer. Okay, one more step closer. Our losses will be extremely heavy. Okay, let's take a step back first. Maybe we should have the other units move forward. Okay, now how about that? Can we attack with all units there? No. Okay. Then these attack all units here from the coastline. Maybe we can use them. Maybe we can use all of them. Maybe we should start moving some of these other units, but our probability of success is excellent. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. Yeah. And then these other units. Do we dare move them there? Let's take a look. Let's fast forward. This is getting exciting already. I can't remember how it all turned out. Okay, and at this point, maybe we can start moving more units like this stack. Let's move it up here so that we can join in the attack to the coast. Let's go forward, and then let's join it in the attack. Let's do an all units attack so that all of these units will attack these HQ units. And then, I wonder how that'll turn out. I don't know how that will turn out, but our probability of success seems to be excellent. What about Chu Wei? What are we gonna do with that? I mean, there's a unit there at the very coast that we're ignoring. But what I'm thinking is, in a sense, they're starting to be irrelevant, because what we want to do is to remove the HQ units, and these two units don't really have enough strength in them to retake any significant territory, so we're probably just going to leave them there. If they want to do their own little Dunkirk, that's up to them. But like I mentioned, in this case, I don't think it's gonna. I don't think there's a provision here for how they will get off the island. Let's just move on up, and moving up, and maybe as we move up more of our units, we can move up more of our units. Maybe we can also surround them, corner them in the coast, and then push them push them out, push them off the island, so to speak. Okay, let's try that. But are we still in supply? Look at their health. They're still in red. But I'm kind of hoping that the enemy is actually out of supply already at this point. I don't know how they're getting their supply, but our condition is in red, so that means we're in poor health. The unit is not in very good health. So, gee, I wonder how that's gonna work out. But let's try it out. Let me fast forward this again and see. Oh no, we can move our units, continuing to move our units forward. Up north. This is a fresh, relatively fresh unit. Attack strength 10, defense strength 6. Maybe we can move it up. It's got a lot. Maybe we can move it up, and if we place it here and all units attack, we might be in a good position to eliminate, or to eliminate this airborne paratroop unit. I'd like to try and do that. I mean, after all, we've only got how many more turns left? It's already turn 15. Isn't this going to be the last turn already? Something tells me this was supposed to be only up to turn 13, but the random number generator just keeps on moving it. Okay, so we've slowed down a little bit, so
I guess I'm kind of happy where we are. If we get a few more turns, I'll consolidate strength. I'll consolidate the forces, and then we're going to punch them into the ocean. Push them into the sea. And other units, let's move them up so that we can again um, consolidate our forces and have a focused force uh, and attack those HQ units. Here in Taipei, we are maintaining our gains, but the question is how to occupy the airport. Well, we've already gotten the victory points for the airport, but by keeping it vacant, I'm just thinking that just leaves it exposed for the enemy to take it. And basically, I'm not thinking that I would want to leave it just like that. The difficult part is that if I enter, I don't think I have enough forces to secure it because I keep getting attacked. But we'll see. I keep hoping that I can attack the parachute infantry here, but the odds don't seem to be very good. But again, these are the ending turns, and I'm thinking anything goes, meaning go ahead and try to take whatever gains you can, because the turn is about to end, or the scenario will be ending soon, I'm thinking. Okay, so let us go ahead and move this forward and see how the battles will be resolved. Okay, so let's go ahead and resolve the attacks. Okay, we're attacking the HQ unit. And what happens? Okay, some of them are evaporating. Some of our units are breaking off the attack. Okay, some of them retreated, and we move forward. 20% of our turn remains. Oh, are we just gonna sit here in Taipei and then just wait it out? We just... is that the plan? We just want to remove the main force from Chiang Kai-shek Air Base, and then just maybe hope that they'll learn their lesson. They'll give up already. Is that the plan? Okay, China's turn. Yeah, Red Force is going to... Oh, they're trying to escape. Meanwhile, the other units are trying to move. It's trying to move the other units and bombard them. And then trying to take targets of opportunity, I'm suspecting. Okay, I think that's what the computer AI is trying to do, just bombarding and trying to attack. Some of their artillery battalion actually evaporated because of that, and then they'll be using their jet bombers. They're supposed to be at rest. Okay, and then they're attacking. They probably have a strong a long list of bombers, and that's why it's... Oh, we have victory. Enemy forces have been defeated. International condemnation of the enemy's action forces them to accept military defeat, and in important political turmoil they accept a less aggressive role in the region. That's great. Okay, that's cool. That's good. Wow, that was very, very interesting. And again, look at this. They only have one air unit? What was that? Oh, or maybe I was just looking at one air unit. Okay, but the interesting part overall of this scenario is again trying to look at the difficulties of island invasions. Trying to attack an island, and we saw that in Crete. Although historically the Germans did occupy Crete. But when we played the game, the scenario, we saw there the difficulties that the Germans had in attacking and in assaulting an island. Over here, again, we're playing defense. Oh, we have 267 points out of 281. An overwhelming defeat. Oh, that's because of the current player is the computer AI. Okay. So, but as I was saying, the difficulties of attacking an island, you'll see here, especially if you use airborne units, I think that will be something for serious consideration when conducting operations to take over these locations. Something to consider. Okay, so once again, we'd like to thank everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video gameplay. If you have any comments on how the war game was played, or regarding how the scenario was created, by all means, please let us know. And remember to like and subscribe and follow us, and tap on the bell icon. You can also support us on Patreon, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye.